We are the New York Knicks. I'm back, rocking in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. But this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, episode 554, part of Dash Radio. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
Jay, can I suggest new opening music for the show?
Sure. You want me to do all this work, right?
Yeah. Can you find just some song where they sing the roof is on fire, and just replace the word roof with Knicks?
So, I'm guessing you're not going to be very positive this episode.
No, not. I have a question for you. Actually, I have a question about efficiency. I just want to know if you know a lot more about basketball. Like I know some about basketball. I think you're the more knowledgeable person here. Would you say so, Jay?
Probably, yeah. I'd say
Good enough.
A fair assumption.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you from an efficiency standpoint. One thing I've noticed, so a lot has happened since last show. The Knicks have. So what happened since last show? The Knicks did they beat San Antonio before last show, or was that after last show?
I think that was after, but they changed their starting lineup again. So that was the big news.
Okay, then they.
So Mitchell Robinson got moved to the bench for Noel. Noel looks like he is playing injured, right? Is that fair?
Yeah. And then, but anyway, and we'll come back in 1 second. So they beat the Spurs, they lost to the Pacers, lost to the Raptors, lost to the Bucks, and big games of the week against the Bucks. Grimes had a huge game. We'll talk about it. And Obi, who now is out on COVID protocol, had a great game against the Raptors. So I had a question about Obi, actually, and Tim being not playing for a couple days, probably whatever. We'll answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
So Obi spots up for three a lot, right?
He does, yeah.
Yeah. So what would be? And I know when he gets the ball, when they kick it out to him for a three, would it be more efficient for him to take the ball and just chuck it into the stands? I'm just asking because that way the Knicks can at least get back on defense when he misses a shot, and I know he's going to miss every time because he can't shoot threes. I have a million complaints. I don't know why I started with that one, but Jay, talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah,
19%
is not good.
Not good. No. There's a lot of things that are not good.
It's almost half of league average. League average is like 36%, so we're not even in the ballpark of average.
No. I mean, 19% in a wheelchair basketball league would still be like below league average. Okay, so the big things this week, they changed starting lineup. What do you think about starting an injured Noel over a out of shape Mitchell Robinson?
I mean, it was worth a shot. What is Tibbs supposed to do at this point? Like, 3/4 of the roster has regressed drastically, and the rest are like rookies. And he's like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? Right.
It's the conundrum here is everything like I saw on Twitter. Some people are like, well, if the team tanks or the team starts playing poorly, is Tibbs going to survive this? I'm like, Tibbs has been coaching for a long time. He has a ton of experience. He just won Coach of the Year last year. Are we really talking about getting rid of another coach in such a short period of time? How insane is this fan base?
Especially since, like we said, you can make your gripes about minutes or players that aren't playing or some of the rotations or even the fact that it seems like there's no offensive scheme, like at all.
None whatsoever. Yes.
It seems like there's no plan. But on the other hand, I don't think we're at firing stage yet. He won Coach of the Year last year.
So, yeah, I mean, it's insane. Like, you have to think of all the things here. Tibbs is probably a pretty good coach. His offensive schemes could use some work. Maybe he can bring in an offensive coordinator, so forth. the Knicks had one of the best defenses in the league last year. This year they have one of the worst defenses. I know a lot's going wrong, but I think the problems are much bigger than Tibbs. And he should coach for 5 years or somewhere close to that. They should give him a chance to figure this out. It's a lot of problems that are not his fault. But do you know? So I saw this. Mitchell Robinson, his defensive rating on and off the court. He is a 114 on the court, and they're 109 when he's off the court, with negative 4.5. So they are, with 114 points per 100 given up, is one of the worst defenses in the NBA, and that's with Mitchell Robinson on the court.
I mean, and that was after benching Kemba, who was supposed to be the problem.
Yeah. It's 114 and offensive rating was 109, but still 114 is terrible.
Yeah.
Then when Nerlens Noel's on the court, they're at 113, which is also terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should be getting close to, when Taj is on the court, they're 102. That's more in line with what you want. And then when Jericho Sims on the court, their defensive ratings are 90, which is just a statistical aberration. I don't think Jericho Sims is that good. I mean, 90 would be amazing. He's actually there at 90 with him defensive rating and a 110 offensive rating, so a plus 20, which would be like the best in the NBA. That's just an aberration, but it is really terrible how bad our centers have been.
Yeah, and they were supposed to be the anchors, the really good. Yeah, I really don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the pitch with this team, or the Tibbs thing was, Nerlens Noel and Mitch aren't great on offense, but you're going to have 48 minutes of rim protection out there with them. The entire defensive scheme is built on the fact that these guys are awesome around the rim, and also they can help. They can come out to help. They can come out to the 3-point line. They're very nimble, agile defenders, which they both have been. Do you think it's? Is it just? Why have they both been so bad? It's just the injuries? Is that the issue, basically?
I think it's the injuries for Noel, and it's probably all the weight Mitch put on. He seems too slow.
Well, Mitch had a broken foot, which made it very hard to you can lift a lot of weights, but you really can't do a lot of it's hard to stay in shape basically and play basketball when you have a broken foot.
Yeah.
So his foot healed up right before the season started. So that really kind of limited, he came to the season a little bit out of shape. Understandable, but a little bit out of shape. Maybe the Knicks should have given him 2 more weeks to practice running and get back in shape. I don't know. But he seems like he hasn't caught up to being NBA shape yet. Noel has been so banged up that he's just looked half broken on the court. Do you think, can we just say both guys, the injuries, if they had been healthy, this defense would look are we blaming Tibbs or just the bad luck with these injuries?
There's bad luck with injuries, but the eye test is telling me that Randall's not playing nearly as good.
Oh, I was just doing the centers. I mean, we can go through every position why they're all this complete disaster.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's bad luck with the center injuries, but I wouldn't say the whole defense is bad just because of that. It seems like there's a lot going on.
If you had to describe the defensive scheme the Knicks run, what is the defensive scheme?
It seems like there's no scheme anywhere, really.
I mean, I would describe the scheme, they used this last year, was kind of everyone hedges to the paint, everyone packs the paint and jumps out at 3-point shooters, basically. What do we have, kind of fair?
Yeah, but it seems like they're slowing their rotations. It seems like there's some
Super
confusion
slow.
whether they should go over or under screens.
I mean, as we talked about last show, no communication whatsoever. I'm going to switch. I'm not going to, just to be disagreeable.
Well, it looked like Randall was actively trying to avoid Giannis. When Giannis touched the ball, Randall would yell switch no matter where he was. He wanted nothing to do with it.
Randall just looks like, I don't know, there's this team does, what this team does, and it reflects Randall does a lot. Randall seems like part of the game he's kind of coasting, not giving all that effort. Then when they're down by 20, suddenly he'll give some effort. And that's the whole team. The whole team seems like it's just kind of lost, kind of not getting a lot of effort. Then suddenly we can get back in it by getting a lot of effort, but we just can't seem to get effort for 48 minutes.
I'm just having trouble putting my finger on, like, maybe it's a bunch of things, and that's why we can't pinpoint the problem. Maybe there's so much going on. But
yeah, I mean, even Randall's offense, what I've noticed, last year it seemed like he was both, first of all, it just seemed like he was hitting more shots. But he was passing. He kind of had a flow to, like, it seems now he's more predetermined. Am I going to pass on this play or am I going to shoot on this play? I'm not going to make a decision during the play.
Yeah.
And, like, sometimes he seemed like in the Milwaukee game, he didn't seem to really want to be involved in the offense for a lot of it.
Well, I saw a stat. I'll give him credit. The Max Hoover on Twitter posted Randall only had 5 assists on 14 potential assists versus the Raptors, and 7 assists on 18 potential assists versus the Bucks. So his teammates are missing an awful lot of shots, and if they're hitting those, his game looks. You could see he got 12 assists. That's why he didn't score a lot of points. Like.
Right, but like even if he gets 12 assists, the guy should put up 20 points. Like that should be a given every night if you get to 20 points.
Yeah, he has more single point games this season than he did all of last season already. So that's not good.
Right, he's not Draymond Green where like he fills up the stats and like and his defense is so good that we don't care that much if he scores too much. Like Randall, like a lot of like not every pass is going to equal an assist, and that's helpful. I mean, he was trying to set other teammates up. He's got to play some bully ball. He's got to hit some threes. He's got to provide some offense. He's our best offensive player, and a lot of times you're like, what the hell, really?
Yeah. He's definitely failing the eye test, and he's starting to fail all the advanced tests as well.
I mean, do we have to go down by 20 every night?
I'd rather not.
It just makes everything every game now is just like, okay, let's see if we can like cut and chip into this lead. And you're like, why don't you play the same exact way on minute 1 so you don't go down by 20?
It's to the point where they go down so much so quick. It's like it's disheartening. You watch the game and 6 minutes in they're down by 12, and you're like, they come back a lot, but it's frustrating watching them go down so much so quick.
And they made the change of Kemba, and Kemba's defense looked terrible. And I was listening to Bill Simmons, who was like, I don't know why the Knicks not watched him on the Celtics the last 2 years. Like, I don't know why they even got him.
Right.
But like, we put all this blame on Kemba. He took him out of the starting line, just not even starting lineup. He just benched him, and the starting unit is just as bad.
Well, the starting unit is so bad that Kemba's like league worst plus minus is now inching up to the point where it's almost tied with Randall's.
Yeah.
I think Kemba has a plus minus of 19.5 and Randall is minus 19.1.
It just doesn't matter who the Knicks start. Like, I mean, it does matter. Obviously, there's certain people that are starting that are the issue. Randall, obviously, the centers are an issue. I mean, our starting point guard, I know we're now making Burks the starter, but like, Burks I like Burks, but he was a bench player last year, and probably for a reason. He's not our answer at point guard.
Well, he's not a point guard.
Yeah, I mean, it's absurd that we got to the point where like Leon Rose is like, he's been here for 2 years now. Rose has been here for 2 years, and at the 2-year mark, our starting point guard, by choice of the coach, not injury, is Alec Burks, because that's what he's left with.
Yeah, it's. We thought we had 4 point guards, and we're starting a shooting guard.
I mean, I would like to see. I would have liked to see McBride play a little bit. I know also 3 guys. So 2. Alec Burks was out there against Milwaukee because birth of a child, and then Obi Toppin and who else was out?
Barrett.
Yeah, Barrett were out for COVID protocols. I assume Burks will be back against Golden State tomorrow, probably.
He should be back.
But I'm assuming also the COVID protocol guys are not going to be back for a couple of days,
They're
right?
not. Yes, that's correct. They won't be back.
I would have liked to see McBride, and one reason I like to see McBride is that like there aren't that many point guards that are point guards on this team. I mean, you have Quickly, you have Rose. Rose is clearly more meant for the bench unit. I guess why not start Quickly over I guess did he quickly start against the Bucks also? I'm not even remembering. He did not start against the Bucks, right? Why not start quickly and just keep Rose on the bench? Or is there any answer for the starting lineup, Jay?
I mean, I feel like our point guards are not real point guards. Like, I feel like Quickly's more of a shooting guard.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I think Quickly's been doing a good job of really trying to find other players, and, like, he's developing as a point guard. But you're right, and Rose is more of a in-between hybrid guard, if anything, these days.
Yeah. And,
Um,
yeah, I don't know. Everyone's playing just weird basketball. Yeah, Duffin said he's passing up open shots that he'd always take last year, like good shots.
there are so many shots where he's passing up, and there's overpassing on offense where, like, the team gets down to the last second on the shot clock because no one wants to shoot the goddamn ball.
Well, they either overpass or then they do ISO and don't pass at all. There seems to be, like, no in between.
And there's no off-ball action. Some guys cut, but, like, there's no setting a screen to get someone else open. There's no, like, double picks. There's no creativity to the offense at all to get guys going.
We are nyknickspodcast@gmail.com if you want to email us. And I thought this was fitting. Jorge writes, it's funny how things play out. And he sent us a tweet that you wrote 5 years ago. And it says, the D-Rose trade makes perfect sense because Porzingis is probably 5 years from his prime, and D-Rose is 5 years from being healthy. And you nailed that one.
Wow. That's really funny. Thank you, awesome fan. I wrote down some notes while I was watching the game the other night. I think this is while it was the Raptor game, but whatever. It's just notes from the week. Do the Knicks know that instead of staring at the ball, waiting for the rebound, they're allowed to guard or box out guys from the other team? When you run back on defense, how about you look for a guy in the opposing team and stay close to him?
I mean, I feel like boxing out is a lost art. I watched that. The ball goes up, and everyone just watches the ball, and nobody even, like, tries to grab a guy.
But it's also, like, when guys are running back, like, my second point, like, you see so often, like, there's like a fast break or something going on where the Knicks have to get to defense, and the Knicks are just running to the other side as if it doesn't matter where they're standing. Look for a guy in the other team and go near him, because he's usually going to be open and score. Also, how about Randall posts up somewhere near the basket? How about he doesn't post up at the three-point line?
I like that.
Are the Knicks... Do league rules prevent the Knicks from going under a screen?
I think they might.
Also, do the Knicks just think everyone on the other team is really dangerous? That's why they have to double everyone? Should the Knicks get 6 players since they double everyone on the other team?
I know. They're double teaming, like, 8th man off the bench.
So I was also watching, so the Knicks keep packing the paint and trying to close out on three-point shooters. And I'm watching in the Raptor game, and the Raptors are just doing something a little different. They're just covering us. The Raptors seem to have all these open shots. The Knicks can't get anyone open. It seems like just covering guys seems like a better style.
That's an interesting strategy.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of, I was like, I don't know how the Raptors figured that part out about just covering guys, but it seemed like it worked really well because the Knicks could not get guys open, whereas the Raptors just stood through white line with no one, like, near them.
It's pretty radical ideas they got going up there, but
yeah. Also, at the end of a quarter, at the end of a half, or anytime when Randall's doing the last shot at the end of a half, does he need to really fight for a double team? Is there any chance he could just shoot, like, pass out to someone else? Does he always have to take that shot?
it would be nice if he got a lot better at passing out of the double team. We don't always have to do ISO. Don't have
Sometimes
to.
he does. Sometimes he passes out, but like when the last shot in a quarter, any shot of a quarter, when the time is running out, he has to always do he has to go into double and just find some way to chuck up a shot. Like it's like his league rules say only your star player is allowed to shoot that shot.
Yep.
I'm just like, why? Like, is this really going to go in? You're going into 3 guys right now.
Agreed.
Yeah. And then also, I also noticed that every time the Knicks do a take foul, it comes back to bite them later in that quarter when they either that guy goes into foul trouble 5 minutes later, or they immediately go into the penalty. There was one play, and I forget. It must. I think it happened in the Raptor game also, and I forget who exactly did it. But they fouled the other team. They got like a take foul, and the Knicks were already in the penalty. So they just sent instead of allowing the fast break, they sent the Raptors to the line. It was just so idiotic. Anyway, that was my my ranting. How are you doing, Jay? The show start, the show over, Knicks are over.
Show's still going. So
how can this team? It's not even. We used to, in the bad seasons, which were pretty much every season before last season, the season would be over by January. It's not January yet. Is the season over yet, Jay?
no, it's not over yet. They still, believe it or not, have a better record than they did last season. At this point,
That is, believe it or not. Is it going to hold true when they lose to Golden State tomorrow?
then they will be tied with last season.
Great. Well, then they'll trade for Derrick Rose and everything will be fine. Are we going to be talking about, you know how we like almost talk about, hey, you remember the 54-win season? The 54-win season. What an amazing team. The 54-win season. Oh, you remember time when we almost won like the championship with the 54? We talk about a team with like some kind of reverent, like, oh my God, I hope you were alive back then. Are we going to be talking about like the 41-win team? Hey, do you little kids remember? You may not be old enough, but I remember that time Knicks won 41 games.
The 54-win season was like almost 10 years ago now, right?
Yeah, it's just like we almost talk about like that was the great time. Like, we don't have the 90s anymore. We have the 54-win season.
Which is like a normal playoff team for most franchises.
Yeah, I mean, we made the second round. Like, it's just not that exciting, unless you're just a disaster of an organization. So we discussed. I messaged you if you remember this. I wanted to debate with you whether the Knicks should they tanking or basically buyers or sellers at the deadline.
Okay.
You want to do that debate?
So let's have a word from our sponsor, and then we will do the debate, and we will do some listener questions, and we have a little bit of positivity to talk about too, believe it or not.
Okay, that sounds great.
All right.
And I also have a Knicks. Where are they now?
Excellent. All right. DraftKings Sportsbook is coming soon to New York. It won't be long until you can bet on all your favorite sports right here in the Empire State on top of rated DraftKings Sportsbook app. You know DraftKings for their daily fantasy contests, and now they've brought you their expertise to sports betting so that sports fans everywhere can get in on the action. DraftKings Sportsbooks offers everything you would ever want from a sports betting app, from player props to same game parlays. They have it all. In just a short time, you'll be able to bet on all your favorite sports from the comfort of your own home with one of America's top-rated sportsbooks, DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. So check out DraftKings and tell them I sent you by using promo code NYKP. That's promo code NYKP. DraftKings Sportsbook coming soon to New York State. Eligible restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full details. Must be 21 plus and physically present in New York. And if you have a gambling problem, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. And back to you, Mark.
I was going to say, our buddy and sometimes co-host of Brink of Sanity, Bry, does DraftKings in Connecticut and tells us that he always asks us for advice on his bets. It sounds super fun. I am very excited for when this comes to New York.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a couple like daily fantasy games, but I want to get in on the parlays.
It sounds pretty awesome.
It does.
Anyway, where are they now? I forget if I've done this one before. But where are they now? Landry Fields. You know where Landry Fields is?
Should I pretend I don't? I don't know what team
Okay.
I don't know what team he is. I know he's going to be a GM, but I don't know what team.
Yeah, the Atlanta Hawks. He's the assistant GM there, and they say he's in line to become the GM in the future.
I always
So,
liked Landry Fields. I'm happy for him.
How could you not like Landry Fields? I was always a huge fan. You remember when he did that Modell's commercial?
That was
where
awesome.
He pretended to be a Modell's. By the way, Landry Fields, for those that don't remember, he was drafted by the Knicks. He had a pretty decent rookie year. We never thought he was going to be great or anything, but it was like he seemed like a decent enough player.
We thought he was going to break the Charlie Ward curse.
Yeah, you thought he'd be here for a long time. The Toronto Raptors overpaid him, and then he kind of got injured and fell off. But anyway, he did this great Modell's commercial where he pretended to be a Modell's employee, and he was helping someone buy jerseys, Knicks jerseys. And he's like, "What about Landry Fields?" And the person was like, "Oh, Landry Fields, I don't want that jersey." That was just funny because it was Landry Fields selling the jersey.
Yeah.
But anyway, I am very happy for him. I wish he'd be the Knicks GM. Not that I'm commenting how he's doing with the Hawks. I just like I love having former players take positions with the team. So as much as would you like that if they had like former Knicks players who actually were like the Knicks GM and like.
Yeah, especially former players I liked. Like the only one the Knicks have is Allen Houston, and I'm a little bitter about Allen Houston's whole situation. So
I also don't even know what Allen Houston's real role with the team is anymore. Like I don't know exactly. Like I want someone player like fan-facing role. So whether it be GM, team president, coach, someone you're gonna see a lot and like whatever. Anyway, or at least an assistant coach with a. Anyway, what else are we gonna talk about, Jay? Oh yeah, you want to debate, Jay? I'm gonna take the side that the Knicks should still try to make trades to improve the team and still go all in this season. And you're gonna take. So my point basically is we've committed a lot of money on this franchise already. We're gonna be capped out basically for the next few years. Why not try to add Miles Turner? Why not trade a bunch of free agents, bunch of first round picks to try to get Ben Simmons, put together a package, try to make this team better. We've got Randall's prime. We've got a bunch of young talent. We can turn this around. The team was really good last year. It can be turned around fast.
before we do the debate, do you think if the Knicks traded Randall and I don't know, maybe a first or something, and got Simmons, and then traded Mitch and Fournier and something else, and got Turner, do you think that would be?
So if you added, I mean, again, I don't think you could trade that realistic. Maybe you throw a bunch of first round picks, maybe you convince everyone. But you're saying you get Miles Turner, you're losing what, Mitch, and you're adding Ben Simmons and getting rid of Randall. That basically the changes.
Yeah, and to make salaries work, Fournier's gone, and maybe one of the young guys and a couple picks. But basically, let's just assume it's Fournier.
Give me your starting lineup.
Starting lineup would be Simmons, Burks, RJ, Turner, and Obi.
I mean, you can talk about maybe switching Burks to the bench and putting in Grimes, whatever.
And then you have Rose, Grimes.
Well, you don't need a starting point guard if you have Simmons on the starting lineup.
Well, he is the point guard.
Yeah. So what do I think about that?
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be a pretty interesting team. I'm going to assume that if the Knicks trade I assume when Ben Simmons leaves Philly, he'll be up for playing basketball again. He is. I know he has issues with shooting. He's still a really good player. I would love to build this team around. I would be very much up for building the Knicks around Ben Simmons. If you're adding Turner, he'd be interesting also. I think the team would be really. I don't know if the team would challenge or. I mean, that goes. I think they're a playoff team, and they'd be a very interesting team to develop to kind of build around. I'd like where the team would be going. I would be if that was what Leon Rose pulled off. I'd be very happy to see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. Barrett would have to get a shot back because you can't have Obi and Simmons and then another guy who can't shoot.
Right. Yeah, I mean, obviously you have to tinker out who starts, who's on the bench. And yes, guys have to play better. But in theory, like, a guy like Ben Simmons would make the team better. And Ben Simmons is a very good point guard. He would make the team a lot better.
And I said Turner just because he would space the floor. You would need a guy like Turner if you got a guy like Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, and Turner can space. Yes, Turner can space the floor. Turner, in many ways, he has a big upside, and maybe he's not being fully utilized in Indiana because of he's alongside what's his name? Who's the power forward there?
Sabonis.
Yeah, Sabonis. Yes. It's not a great pairing to have the two of them together. Some people have said they're better off trading Sabonis. They're going to trade one of them.
Maybe they just trade both
interesting.
and just blow it up.
Well, I guess like the theory really is that the pairing doesn't work that well. So maybe like you could still find a way. I mean, they're both youngish players.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be if you could find some way to kind of like readjust and then start and it might be a better move than just blowing it all up.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, yeah, I would like that. Would you? I assume you'd like that as well, Jay?
Yeah, I think that would be very interesting. I would like to see that.
So I don't see. So the only way I think we're getting Turner is we're going to offer probably multiple first-round picks, which I don't want to do. I would do multiple first-round. Would you do multiple first-round picks to get Simmons?
I would do at least one, but I don't know if I would go more than
I
maybe
think.
two.
Well, I guess like, would you give up? Here's the better question: would you give up 4 first rounds to get those 2 players?
No, not. I don't think 4.
Well, you just said you're going to add Miles Turner and you're going to add Ben Simmons, and obviously there's going to be more to these packages. But in total, would you give up 2 for each pick? And also, we're talking about the Knicks have their picks, and then they have these 2 extra picks.
Well, that's the thing. The Charlotte one is top 18 protected, so that's not. That's not that bad.
The Charlotte and the Dallas picks aren't that great. It's the Knicks
Right.
picks everyone's going to want. Everyone thinks the Knicks are a disaster.
Right.
I would be fine. Let's just say the price is getting up to 4 Knicks picks, or maybe two Knicks picks, those 2 other picks, and 2 pick swaps.
I think if you're gonna do one, you have to do both because.
Right. I'm just saying, like, yeah, exactly. My point really is, at that point, if you're getting Simmons, you have to get Turner.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to give up a bunch of first-round picks to try this experiment because the only options, I guess we didn't even do our debate, but the only options I see here really are either go back to tanking and just try, like, we tried to get good too fast, which is sometimes it happens, but the problem with that is we did it before we had enough talent on this roster, and we've had so many years of just failed drafts that there's not a lot to build with. I mean, yes, they hit on KP, but they turned him into nothing. And KP, whether you want him now or not, for the injuries, but either way, that draft didn't really work out well. Overall, it's not worked out for now, at least. And then from there, Kevin Knox and Frank clearly just failures as far as drafts. Didn't really help the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
They got Mitch, which is a value pick in the 2nd round, but he's decent. You got Obi, who seems to show some signs of light, but it's still. And you got a bunch of guys who are if they're a bench player for you, there's no star play, and RJ is not taking a step forward, which is the biggest issue of all.
Right.
If RJ takes a step forward this year, everything else is justified. Like, RJ takes a step forward here, you're like, there's a lot to build here. We're going forward. It's just a matter of figuring out the way to do it. When RJ is stepping laterally or stepping backwards, you don't know where the hell this team is going.
Yeah. All right, we're almost out of time, so let's do some questions. EMP Tay says, Curry breaking the record in MSG is going to be the best moment in Knicks history in a decade. So he did only hit 1 3-pointer in the 4th quarter of today's game, which means 1 more 3 and he ties the record, and another 3 and he breaks the record, which he will do both tomorrow at MSG.
My prediction is tomorrow he only hits 2 3-pointers. The first one will happen in the 1st quarter early on, and then he'll miss a bunch of shots. And then, with 0.3 seconds to go in a tied game in the 4th quarter, he will hit a crazy 3. I'm sorry, he'll hit a 3 where the Knicks just don't cover him to win the game.
Ive says Randall Walker Knox 1st rounder for Simmons. I would do that.
What was it? Randall, Walker, Knox,
And a 1st.
And 2 firsts even. The problem, so Philly is not going to do this because they need to get better now. They have to be. Do you think they'd be convinced that Randall would make them better now? Because they don't care as much about the first picks. I mean, I guess Randall makes you better in the sense that, Randall's better than literally no one showing up.
Randall's a good player, and maybe with a better supporting cast. I mean, I would think Randall with Embiid would be a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, you're going for the title this year. You don't have much of a window. First of all, I think it's insane if Philly and the Nets don't make trades. You have to figure this out. You're going for the title this year. But Kyle writes, should we trade Randall? This is on Facebook.
Depends. I can't give a straight answer. It depends what the package is. If you're getting Simmons and Turner, yes.
Okay, so what about De'Aaron Fox? And also, I asked this on Twitter, but maybe you can answer this. Instead of De'Aaron Fox, what if you just got an actual Fox? Would you do the trade?
I mean, the Knicks need a point guard so bad. I would probably do it.
Yeah, you need a point guard really bad. Like, I'm just wondering, is there a value just getting off Randall's contract, like moving on from Randall?
I don't know. I'm not ready to say like it's a bust yet. I mean, he's having a terrible streak right now, but he can pull out of it.
You know how you know what when he became bad? The moment we bought a Randall jersey for my son. The minute
So
we
it's your
did that,
fault.
he
Your
sucked
fault.
ever since. God damn it. Dan writes, do you think Grimes will get more minutes now? What did Kemba do to Tibbs to get benched behind Knox? Is he going to going to the younger guys more?
Maybe. I mean, we didn't even talk about Grimes. He was awesome last game. 7 threes.
Yeah. 7 threes. I mean, his defense was so-so, but it looks like he has potential on D. He was playing a lot of hustle. Jay, would you like to see the Knicks just play a lot more of the young guys?
Yeah, if they're gonna play like that, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of love when the young guys play, and I always get excited about like it's always exciting when the guys you draft are like first or second or third year start playing pretty well. But
Yeah.
so I assume Grimes is going to play more, hit a bunch of threes. The Knicks need guys to get shots. Anthony writes, how bad is this team? Seriously, did Tibbs lose the team? Has Tibbs lost the team?
Oh yeah. We'll let that-
There you go. Brian writes, are we sure Randall for Simmons deal is
Perfect
a bad
timing.
idea? While we downgrade from mid-range and deep on offense, I guess. It's not like Julius has been super efficient from there. We are 100% upgrade with a top 5 defender in the NBA, playmaking and athleticism. I agree.
Yeah.
I think Simmons would be a tremendous. I would take him over Randall in a heartbeat. He is an all-star. Obviously Randall was off last season. I just think Simmons does so much else on the court. Paul writes, how do we get Cat for Randall and some of our big guys? Doesn't solve the point guard problem, but maybe a safer move than Lillard. I don't see why Min would do it, though.
Do you know he's the Timberwolves franchise leader in three-pointers already?
Tell me this. Jay was doing some research today. Tell everyone the research you were doing about 3-point shooting.
I was just really repeating the ESPN power rankings this week. Did the franchise leader for three-pointers on every team. And I just found it interesting. Like, what's his name on the Bulls?
Zach LaVine
Zach
is the
LaVine.
all-time franchise. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's hit more threes than Michael Jordan ever hit in the threes.
Yeah.
On the Bulls.
Yeah, Joel Ingles has more threes than John Stockton. I just found that kind of stuff like insane, how much the NBA has changed. Like Stockton was on the team for 20 years, and Ingles has more threes.
And Devin Booker's about to pass Steve Nash.
Yeah, by next year.
Yeah, which is crazy also. Yeah, so I don't know. Would you trade? I don't love trading for Lillard. By the way, Lillard and Bradley Beal are both not shooting well this year at all.
No, they're not. I mean, I would rather Beal. Lillard's over 30, and I just undersized guards that are over 30. I don't want any part of, especially when he's making $50 million a year.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Lillard wants an extension for an extra on top of the extension he already has. He wants 2 more years at $100 million. I'll pass.
Yeah, I'm all set with that. He'll be like 36 and 37 when that hits. So I'm all set with that.
Beal is, by the way, Beal is 28. His numbers are really off this year. The fact that you'd have to trade like basically everything to get him, I don't think I'd do that either.
No, I would do that if I was the Wizards, man. You get all the Lakers stuff for Westbrook, and then you get all some other team stuff for Beal. Like they could be instantly good again. Like.
Yeah. I would not. So I wouldn't. I don't think I would trade for Cat either. I don't love his defense. But I am all in. Jay is now the team's GM. He's going to be calling around. He's going to get Ben Simmons. He's going to get Miles Turner. I'm up for that. I think that's a good move. Those are good moves, Jay.
I've said Dame is 33. I thought he was 31. Jesus. Yeah, no, I definitely don't want that.
Yeah. Wait, Dame is 33 right now?
According to Ives. I trust him.
No. I mean, that sounds right. I just didn't even realize he was that old. He's 31, actually, so that's wrong.
Oh, I was right. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Good. You can't lie to us. We have Google. I don't know if you guys...
So we are NY Knicks Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Patreon. The New York Knicks Podcast.com is our website. We'll do one more email real quick. Jorge writes, every time we play a team with a center that can shoot, I don't want to re-sign Robinson. Absolutely trash on D.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like he's scared to guard guys too far from the rim.
Yeah.
I mean, or maybe he thinks his assignment is to stay near the rim, but then like, I don't know, it's just insane. So the Knicks have coming up this week, and they have when I watched it, I'm like, why would we give $10 million a year to like? How much do you think Mitch is going to command in the open market?
12 to 15? 12?
I think there's a 0% chance that I guess like everyone gets so much money these days, but I'm thinking he's going to get like a 1-year deal, or like centers are really not valued these days. Maybe he'll get like a 3-year, $30 million deal. I don't think he's getting a ton.
Depends if he stays. If he gets injured again, that's probably going to chop into his contract a lot.
Jay, if?
Yeah.
Are you really saying if?
Next
he's a
injury.
walking injury. Like, he can't, this has been a disaster of a contract season for him.
Yeah.
Right. And we gave a lot of money to Noel, and it's not like going great. Anyway, before the next show, the Knicks have they got Golden State, they got Houston, they got Boston. We're gonna have a good week, Jay.
Yeah, 1 and 2. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Not 2 and 1. We're not gonna beat Boston.
No, nope, not the way we're playing right now. So thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for the follow, and we will be back next week. Stay tuned. We have a comedy show, The Brink of Sanity. We will be on Wednesday, same platforms. So follow here, and you can see those shows. All right, goodbye, everybody.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. It's over. Goodbye. It's time to go.
This is the end.
Say goodbye.